Alrighty, hello, everybody. I hope we're all doing well. It's big face time. For a little bit, at least. Okay, that is on the right slide. Good. I still kind of know what I'm doing. Apologies for the abrupt ending yesterday. That was an experience. I think that's the politest way of putting that. Still no idea what it was. It was a sudden onset, and just as quickly it went away. Oh. But yeah, I didn't really have a plan for today. Wasn't feeling satisfactory, so I thought, I'll just... Rydog has reached his 5-stream streak. I am doing better, thank you. Hopefully you're doing better as well. Oh, dear.
Go ahead.
Do you get...
Make my day.
You've... Where did I just hear that from? I heard it from where I shouldn't. Okay, I think we're good. You've got to have stream open Sunday? What do you mean by that? You're not free Sunday, or? You got a very, very faint line on the COVID test? Hey, Serenity. Thank you very much for being subscribed for 63 months. That's a hell of a lot of months. Oh, you had to start a new streak. Gotcha. Oh, dear. Oh, yeah, I hope everyone is doing all right. Like I said, I didn't really have a plan today. So I'll see how just chatting goes. You're at 966,000 channel points. I think LP keeps spending his on playing the Cakey Mix. Oh. We do have to lose that sax solo. That statement's going to make no sense because the background noise doesn't go through to the VOD. But that's fine, right? That's fine. It just makes me look even more insane than I am. Oh. But yes, I have coffee. That's about it. That's all I got. It is Friday, though. That's got to be good, right? I can't decide if I'm hot or cold or somewhere in between. Oh, dear. I don't really have a lot to talk about. So doing a talking stream today was probably a bad idea, but you know what you're going to do. That's only part of it. I want to talk through this game idea I've got using Cortex Prime, which is a very open system for tabletop RPG, but that's kind of its strength and its weakness as far as I'm concerned. But we'll get to that. I'm going to drink coffee first. I may even get a chocolate orange and start eating that. It's that kind of Friday. Oh, dear. And then God knows what this weekend's going to bring. Oh, my sisters get back. So they've been away. One of my sisters has been having cheap cosmetic surgery. They'd probably hate the fact that I was talking about this. So they're back this weekend. My two sisters have violently fallen out. Judging by the different Facebook messages we've been getting from both of them. Oh dear, yeah, it hasn't gone well. Well, I think the surgery and everything went well. But at one point, the sister who had the surgery, was trying to get home earlier than planned by missing the post-operation meeting to make sure she doesn't have an infection. Now, we thought it was important that she had that. Oh dear. And then my other sister, I don't know why she went. I guess for moral support. It's one of these weird things. I don't think these people. Like, I knew this trip was going to be a disaster from the moment they talked about it, right? Because these are two people who can only get on for about an hour and a half. So I don't know why they thought they'd be able to get on for. Well, they went Sunday and they're back early Sunday, I think, this weekend. But they did. The nephew, I think, has been loving the fact that there's been no one at his house and he's just been alone. No, he's just like, I've been in contact with him. But he's got his car. He had money. He could just do what he wanted. I think he loved it. He's been down a couple of times just to, say hello, so we make sure he's still alive and stuff. But yeah, no, he's just been having the time of his life, I think. He's like me, in that he's very independent and just likes his own space. And it's one of these weird things, right? Because, he's 17, so in my mind, he's 17. He's basically an adult now, right? He can do what he wants. And then I'm only here if he wants or asks for support, right? Or if he desperately needs it, and has to have it shoved down his throat, as with the UCAS applications. But, as far as I can say, he can do what he wants, basically. But he knows I'm here if he needs help. If he gets into trouble, I'll help him bury the bodies. I feel that's what my role is now. What has been interesting is, so when he's at home with his mother, clearly they don't spend a lot of time together. So he's up in his bedroom and my sister rules the rest of the house, right? They don't like watch TV or movies or anything like that together. I don't think they even eat together, really. Whereas clearly, while he's had the house to himself, he's not been on his computer as much, if at all. Like, when he's playing Fortnite and stuff with his friends, he's on it. But other than that, I think he's clearly been down in the lounge watching TV, using the kitchen, cooking for himself. It's like me. I guess it's like me. I hide in my shed, and then if the family isn't here, I go around the house and do things. Normally tidy up because it's a fucking pigsty, but what are you going to do? But the original plan, because obviously my sister's had surgery, I don't think she's 100% mobile, and I don't think she's meant to climb stairs. So where she lives, her bathroom is upstairs. So she was like, she can't stay at her house. So she was going to go and stay with my sister, but I don't know if that's an option anymore. I've already made it quite clear that I'm not helping, because so when my other sister broke her ankle, I was willing to help because that was, she didn't do it on purpose. She needed help. Fair enough. I don't feel the same way about this. Maybe that makes me a selfish prick. I honestly don't care at this stage. Um, honestly, I've got too old for this shit. But yes, it's something I wouldn't even think of doing for myself. Going because I went over to Turkey because that's where all the cheap surgery is. Going over to Turkey just with some cheap surgery to make myself. I mean, one, if I wanted to make myself look better, that's going to be one hell of an operation. And two, even though it's cheap, it's still a lot of money, and money that my sister who went for the surgery doesn't have. That's where the do you have an extra £6,000 lying around came from. You know, one, no, but two, even if I did, you ain't having it. It is. I find it amazing. Just so a lot of things come out. My dad is instantly more relaxed when my sisters aren't around. And to be honest, we've been like, I haven't seen him much more than I normally do, but you know, we've been having more chats and just in general getting along better, even with all the dogs. The constant barking dogs. Oh my God. So there's now 4 dogs in the house because obviously we got the 2 down from my sisters, and then we have my other sister's dog who's normally around, but normally goes into my sister's side of the house when my sister is home from work. My poor dad, honestly. So he's got a single bed. He's not a small man. Let's put it that way. So he's got a Springer Spaniel, a Cocker Spaniel. Actually, no, the Cocker Spaniel has started to sleep on the chair, so he's down a Cocker Spaniel. But he's got a Springer Spaniel, Cockapoo, I think is what Isla is, and a Yorkshire Terrier, plus 3 kittens and 2 cats, all on his bed with him every night now. I honestly don't know how he puts up with it. I really don't. Dear. He's warm, they're warm. It's quite amazing. Just but yeah, I like, because I'm in bed, I move around a lot. So yeah, I don't know how he puts up with it at all, but I mean, I guess I could have offered to take a couple with me, but fuck that. Dear. Oh, that's good coffee. But what I was saying about these 4 dogs, so it just takes one of them to hear something, right? As soon as one barks, they all bark. And as far as I can tell, they all hear different things at different times. So essentially, it's constant barking. And they're not quiet barkers. They're very loud barkers. Oh, dear. Spaniels are loud dogs. And the Cockapoo has a very high pitched, like it's a bark at a frequency that pierces, and it's, oh my God, it is such a yap.
Your life, as it
Hey
has
Hopka,
been,
how's it going? Welcome.
is over.
It is such a yap, and I don't know if it's just me, like the frequency just gets to me, but it cuts to my core. It really, really does. It is not. It is not a good bark. Oh, dear. But yes, hopefully everyone else is doing well and is looking forward to their weekend. Good things about this weekend. One, I should get paid today, which would be good. Get some money in the old bank account. I really got to get poison or something to try and take down these mice because the cats come in here a little bit, but the mice only come out at night. And I don't really want to leave a cat in here by themselves at night. One, because of all the Lego. I don't think it would survive. Oh, dear. I'm sure they'd get the job done, but... So I've got to do something to try and get these mice out. The first lot of poison I got, I don't know if it's a dud or what, but they are not touching it at all. Have mice just got clever and know what poison is now? Because if that's the case, so maybe I have to go for traps. But I hate traps. You got to empty the traps. You got to prime the traps. If I'm sitting here doing something when the trap goes off, it's going to scare the shit out of me. Oh, dear. There's a lot of chocolate rain. What else we got? Anything else interesting happen? I don't think so. Having a sip of coffee gives me time to think. Anything else I have to update people on that I haven't already? It's December now. So that's something, I guess, right? Definitely made my Twitch payout for the end of November, which was good. God, I have lost the ability to just talk about nothing. I think it's because I've been doing it for 5 years now, right? And I don't do enough to refill my story hopper. I guess I could tell you the story about zombies and pirates, but I don't know. I don't know if I should. Maybe we should get to the game. Do it.
For the Emperor!
Hey, LP, how's it going? Welcome. I hope you're doing well. There is a continuation of the story. Dear. Oh, dear. We're just chilling and chatting, LP. We're just chilling and chatting. I'll get rid of my big face in a minute. Don't worry about it. We'll go look at Tailspire. Tailspire, which, I mean, we haven't done D&D in a long time now, right? So it's been a long time since we've looked at it and tried to use it. It's gotten a lot better. It's still not quite there, I don't think, in my opinion. But it's gotten a lot better. And they are finally coming around to the idea that players shouldn't have to buy it, which is absolutely true. And I think they're coming around to that idea because there are so many competitors to what Tailspire is trying to do, including D&D Beyond's own free tool. I think D&D... Well, if you're playing D&D, I think D&D Beyond's new tool is probably going to be the go-to, honestly. But time will tell. But yeah, no, it's definitely got better. I was playing around with it. Backed a little bit by Foundry. All right, fuck it. I'll tell the zombie pirate story. So, cast your mind back, chat, to what was it? 2 weeks ago now, where I went out and got let's say a little bit merry. Let's say very merry. Oh dear. And then it was either on Sunday or Monday or whenever it was, and I was playing. I think it was probably on the Monday, playing Call of Duty with Rydog, and at the same time, or maybe just before we started, I was getting text messages from a number I didn't know, saying very weird things to me. Oh, that's right. When we tried the disappointing zombies, which everybody loves. I guess we're just too old for modern gaming. And one, people texting me is weird anyway. I'm very antisocial, and why would anybody text me? Two, who texts these days? That costs money. But they were very, very weird messages. It's funny that we're doing zombies. And they were also of a fairly sexual nature, right? And also alluding to something that I possibly had done on the Saturday, which I didn't remember. Oh, dear. Texts are not... they can be. So if I go on an unlimited mobile plan, then texts can be free for certain areas of the world. I don't know if they're free for everywhere. But an unlimited plan, I think it's like $30, $45 a month. And with the amount I use my phone, I tend to put £10 on my phone twice a year as credit just to keep the phone going. Because if I don't, they steal my number. That's how little I use a mobile telephone. The hell is this? Do you know, when you requested this, I think it was LP who requested this, I thought this was going to be some kind of dodgy AI thing, but no, apparently not. Oh, dear. But yes. So these messages were alluding to something that I maybe didn't remember doing on Saturday. And I was a little bit concerned. I was a little bit worried. At the same time, I thought it was just my friends playing a prank on me. Turns out it wasn't. So on Saturday, we started at the whiskey/bottle shop where I ended up working for a little bit. And then we went clubbing, and then we ended up at a house party. I don't remember a lot about the house party, which is where this story starts. So we were at the house party, and basically everybody had fallen asleep on various sofas and stuff. And I went into the kitchen, and I was just making my way through the booze collection. Which, again, apparently was wine. Apparently I was drinking a lot of wine, which makes sense. I do like wine. And one of the people whose house it was had obviously got up, come to the kitchen to get a glass of water or a drink or a snack or something, and just saw me sitting on the floor in the kitchen drinking wine by myself. Clearly very confused about who I was and why I was there and what was happening. Now, this story is all from them. I really do not remember this. And I can't remember how it started now. But I can't remember why she started talking. I can't remember if I was singing. I think it was, yes, that's right. That's what she said. So Apparently, I was just sitting on the floor, drinking wine, singing songs about stuff. I can't remember what the song was about. I could look it up in Discord because she sent me a very long piece of text about everything that apparently I was doing that made her laugh. But yeah, apparently I was just singing songs. So she was angry at first because apparently I was drinking the good wine, not the house party wine. And then she was enjoying the song, so she just sat down next to me and started drinking wine with me, which again, I don't remember. And then apparently I noticed the fact that there was somebody else around, which apparently I didn't notice for a while, which is unlike me because I'm not paranoid, but I'm normally very, very aware of my surroundings. But yeah, so she sits down, we're drinking wine. And then apparently the conversation, I turned to her, I probably turned to her, I probably initiated this, even though I don't remember. And, you know, we just started talking about stuff. And then apparently the conversation got to what it'd be like if we slept together for some reason, right? No idea why. I don't know who brought that up. She won't admit who brought it up, so I have a feeling it was probably her, but that's fine. We didn't, in case you're wondering. I'll put that question. Your favorite ale is a lot, right? Right? How's it going, Stone Knife Guy? Hope you're doing well. Oh dear, and a happy Friday to you. So, and then apparently I started telling a very, very graphic story about a zombie and a pirate having a sexual encounter. Apparently it was very graphic. Again, I remember none of this. And so the text messages I was getting on the Monday was a continuation of this very pornographic story between a pirate and a zombie, right? Which is why... So like Rydog can tell you how a little bit concerned and caught off guard I was on Monday when I was getting these messages. Because it was just when we were loading up and we were having a little chat before we were going to start zombies. And it's unlike me to get distracted by stuff, right? I see something, I move on, right? But I was very distracted and I was very concerned because I was like, what do they describe? What happened? Did I pretend to be a pirate and have sex with someone? Like, I hope I didn't do that. That sounds awful, especially if I don't remember it. But so yeah, there's just like this continuation of the story, and then like I said, I was kind of convinced it was my friend trying to mess with me, but it wasn't. So then, kind of got her name. We ended up chatting on Discord for a while, about various things. And then last night I met her again for the second time, I guess. First time for me, really. We just went. We went to a bar. Again, I played the I'm very poor card to see if anybody... That normally puts most women off. If you're not put off by the face. No money either? Wow. So yeah, we ended up going to a bar. She bought a bottle of wine and we split a bottle of wine. Because I was very reluctant to go on this. Not because of everything that happened before. I always make an ass of myself. I'm not worried about that. But I had no idea how old she was, right? And we ended up at a house party. And normally, if you go clubbing and end up at a house party, you're not really ending up with people over a certain age, right? So I was a little bit worried. I thought she was around 20 to 25, which is way too young. Turns out how old did she say she was? Approaching 30, like 20, 28, 29, something like that. I did bring up pirates. We did continue the story, and what I liked is the fact that she was throwing in her own stuff. Like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I think this could just be a good friendship more than anything else. But I was okay. Yeah. And I missed a little bit of a beat of the story, so I still wasn't sure this was all true. Any of this. Until she brought up the fact that on the Saturday night, or probably Sunday morning, while I was sat on the kitchen floor, I'd introduced Avril Lavigne into the story. That's when I knew that whatever she was talking about had actually happened. Because they had no idea who Avril Lavigne was. But yeah, that's when it clicked to me as, oh, shit, yep. This was me. I did this. This is the conversation that happened. I didn't explain at the time. She obviously did some research after that, and was very off-put, I believe. But no, it was interesting. Like I said, saw her again last night. I have no idea if we'll see each other again. If I'm 100% honest. Future Mrs. Kate, very unlikely, but you never know, right? You never know. But I've realized just how rarely I go out these days. Not even drinking, just in general, right? Just how little I leave the goddamn house. Like, I don't do, because I used to do Star Wars Legion. I used to go and do that every week. Don't do that anymore. Down at the model shop. I had a D&D group, which we don't play anymore either. When else did I used to leave the house? So basically now I only ever leave the house to go to the shop, or to go, very recently anyway, to go to my weekly group therapy sessions, which are... I don't think they're helping, but I'm having a fun time. I've already told all of them that if they ever read anything I write, and anything seems related to something they've said, that's pure coincidence. Pure coincidence. But oh my God. The funniest person is... So I had serious questions about the therapist who was leading this group to begin with. Now I know why. They're still at university and they're doing this as part of their coursework or something. I don't know. So probably everything I'm saying to them is going to end up in some kind of dissertation so they can get their degree or doctorate or whatever it is they're fucking going for. So I now find myself just making stuff up, right? I still talk about the real stuff because that's why we're there, but I do now find myself embellishing it a little bit. Which has helped in quite a lot of ways. It's made everybody more comfortable, I think, to just tell their own stories. And it's made the person who's running the course very wary about listening to anything I say. But anyway, I'm having a good time. And isn't that really all that matters? Oh, dear. Yeah, I just like I said, I got to the point. I really do not leave the house anymore. I've really got to start leaving the house more. Like it's incredible how insular I've become. Like, I'm not a social butterfly. I don't really like social activity, which is why retreating to my sheds has kind of came as second nature to me. But and I still do online stuff with various people, but it's I do need to try and get out more. I don't want to go back to Legion though, because that So I started playing Star Wars Legion, one because I had a box, even if it wasn't Italian, which is why it was cheap, which made playing it a little bit difficult. I don't read Italian. But yeah, I started playing that because being a parent make me be an adult way too much. Oh, makes you be an adult way too much. Yes. Well, I think that's the same with honestly just being in a relationship or anything, right? Like I know some people in and of themselves are very social, so they will just go out by themselves. There are some people who need that contact, that kind of interaction. There are some people who yeah, like, because I know people who hate being single and they'll just go out with anybody just because they'd rather do that than be single, which I don't understand. I'd rather be by myself unless there's a decent beneficial relationship going on. Like I don't like, I'm not a user of people, I guess is the way I want to put it. And I don't really like people using me. That's just because of, family stuff more than anything else. But yeah, I got into Legion. Yeah, one, I had a cheap kit, and two, the group were very good down at the model shop. We were all kind of learning it. We were all taking it not incredibly seriously. So the fact that I had a Darth Vader painted bright pink with a purple cloak, they were okay with that. But the group towards the end started to get competitive, and I really lost interest. Like they became rule lawyers, which I didn't enjoy. And yeah, I was just there to have fun, right? I wasn't there to try and win or lose. I don't mind if you get competitive every now and again, like we did do. So can I, right? So can I, but the problem for me is because I did do one competition. I think I came dead last or second to last. Like I wasn't very good. And I had no problem with rules lawyering and stuff like that at that stage, right? Making sure the measurements, being pedantic about line of sight. If you're going in for a competition, be competitive. I kind of get that. And expect everyone else to be competitive. But when you're just there to learn and have fun, you're going to make mistakes. Look, I know what you're referring to, and yes, flowers, but that was a poorly worded rule, as so many of them often are. Having tried to write tabletop RPG and slightly board game rules myself, I understand how easy it is to, when you know what you're trying to say, it's very easy to read something that it definitely says that, right? And cannot be taken another way. When you don't know where the destination is, it's very easy to read it a different way. It's the beauty of the English language. Wouldn't happen in German. They have specific words. The English, we use the same word for everything, and that'll be fine. But yeah, they started to take every session as competitive, and I just didn't like it. They started to say the models had to comply to the strict painted guidelines, and I was like, fuck that, what? It makes no difference to the play of the game. Like, Darth Vader isn't pink, he's black. And I was like, well, no, he's just wearing his pink suit today. You put it into the wash with his reds. You put his white formal stormtrooper suit into the wash. He got it mixed up with some of the people who guarded the Emperor, the red people with the long staffs. Washed their suits together. He ended up pink, right? That is a perfectly logical story explanation of why he would end up with a pink suit. Hey, I'll gladly play some more of that Warhammer Black Fortress? Blackstone Fortress? Blackstone Fortress is just behind me. Just had to look around for the box. I would gladly pick up on that again. I love stuff like that. The other thing I briefly want to bring up, I'm sure everyone who's been watching Flick has seen two games I'm interested in. One, slightly more than the other. So Gangs of Sherwood, which has been on my wish list for what seems like forever, has finally come out. Fairly expensive. I found it very hard watching the gameplay, just somebody else play it, so Flick in this instance. I found it very hard to judge based on that. I couldn't tell if it looked interesting or boring as shit. Need to get your Game Pass since it's there. It's a game I would like to try. I should have. I don't know if there's still a demo, actually. I might see if there's a demo and just try that, because if the gameplay is good, because it, for anyone who hasn't watched it or doesn't know what it is, Gangs of Sherwood, it's an alternative history Robin Hood story. Obviously, Gangs of Sherwood, who else is it going to be? With Devil May Cry type combo-based gameplay. Albeit it looks incredibly awkward at times. Group of 4, go through missions, do quests. I was a little bit unsure just about how much customizability and upgrades and loot and stuff there was. There didn't seem to be a whole much, which I think will hold it back a little bit. But it looked interesting enough that I'd like to give it a go at some point. But it's like Darktide. It's not a game I'd want to play by myself. So it would have to probably be a Sunday game, try and get people involved. And then the other one, which every man and his dog has been playing at the moment, is God, I haven't talked this much in a while. Is it called Lethal Force? I think it's called Lethal Force. Very ugly looking game. Is my first impression of it. Kind of, it's not really Phasmophobia, but kind of. Lethal Company, yes, that's what it's called, sorry. Kind of game that looks like it would be absolutely no fun playing by yourself. It looks ugly, it looks repetitive. And it looks very grindy, right? These are all bad things. But the shit that they've been getting up to in it, much like Phasmophobia when you can get a group together, seems a lot of fun. But again, it seems like one of those games where it's only going to be fun if you and a group of friends make it fun. I really don't think the game itself has anything going for it. It's like Among Us, right? I don't think that game really has anything going for it, but it's very fun in a group. It's also fairly cheap. I think it's like £8, something like that, which I think is about right. But again, I really can't decide if it looks fun or not. But again, possible Sunday games. If other people are interested, we probably should finish Baldur's Gate 3 and For the King 2 first. But oh dear. Oh, I did put some mods onto Baldur's Gate 3 and then I removed all of them, just in case we do play it on Sunday. The Jedi mods is kind of interesting. So it tries to make the Jedi feel right in that world rather than just being rather than bringing the Jedi. You're out in the Robin Hood game, so feel free for the many Sundays you're not around. Yeah, so So I was reading the notes to it as well. So they started out doing it as a monk subclass, and you can really feel that it's based on the monk, and then try to give it a little bit of Jedi flavor. It plays pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, but I think for a modded multiplayer game to work, everyone has to have the mods, and I think you have to start a new game. So I just removed it. Just to make sure we don't get into any problems. And then the other one I tried was to basically make a single player run, make the solo player a little bit more powerful. I would say it made them too powerful. So I played through the ship intro as Paladin, which I've done before, but with this mod on. I think normally when you leave the ship at the start, you end up leveling up level 1 just as you get to the beach, right? To start the first act. I was level 3 before I left because you get more XP for everything. And at every level, they also give you more things. So you get extra feats, extra points to put around. So I think by the time I got to the big fight at the end on that ship, where the two big guys are smacking the shit out of each other, I 2-shot one of them and I 3-shot the other. So I think maybe a little bit too strong. It was fun kicking their ass, don't get me wrong. Oh, dear. But yeah, also the other thing it does is it gives you more movement and it gives you extra turns. So you can basically end up with like move attack, which is quite nice. And then obviously, like if you're playing a class like Barbarian, where you get your extra attacks as part of your class as you level up, you could probably just take out groups in one turn. Which I think would be fun. But yeah, like I said, I turned all of those off just in case we do play that on Sunday. I do believe we are playing something on Sunday. I don't know if we've agreed what yet. Baldur's Gate 3 had a very big download. Not quite a Call of Duty download, but a very big download. So I don't think I saw the New World one. I don't have Steam up. I haven't decided yet, chat, but I'm going to see what time the Game Awards are. I believe they're on the 7th, the Game Awards, 7th of December. I'm very tempted to co-stream them this year, but I don't know what time they are. So I need to look into that over the weekend and decide. I feel like I haven't co-streamed and been snarky about something for a while. Got the urge to do it. I don't want to watch more on BBC iPlayer. What else have I got to talk about before we possibly go to Tailspire and have a little look around? Yeah, that's the trouble with the Game Awards. That's quite late. It's doable. It's definitely doable. Just do a long stream. Oh god, no, that'd be like over 12 hours. Maybe. No, either way, I would do my normal stream and then I would take a break and pick it back up, or yeah, like I said, just do a long stream. The more delirious I am, yeah, well, whatever day it is, Friday. Hey, I'm just glad it's the first. Glad it's the first and I'm getting paid. Oh, dear. Can't believe how expensive life has got over the past few months. It's ridiculous. And now I'm saying I want to be able to go out and do stuff as well. Come on now, get real. But anyway, hey, what I'm going to do, chat, is I'm going to make myself another coffee. And then I think we'll flip over to Tailspire and I can start to talk through this weird game idea I've got. Hey, cheers for the look, right, dog. Hey, no worries. Oh, I've got to practice talking to myself again anyway, so, it's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, no, hang on. A couple of other things I want to talk about before I go grab a coffee. Gauge if there'd be any interest. So I did a very weird, I think it was like a 45-minute video, which I know Trentner watched. That's about the only person I know who watched it, all the way through at least. Called A Slice of Cake. I don't know if I'll do any more of those. Probably. It was basically like this stream, right? It was just me talking about random shit for 45 minutes. I might do them every now and again, but I don't think it's a content piece I really want to do. It's not something I want to do regularly. Like, I think that's something I would do when I have things I want to get off my chest. LP, look at the emotes. That may answer your question. But yes. Oh dear. I didn't mean to ask where that image came from. I just kind of assumed it was like an AI thing. Or maybe you've been keeping your artistic talents to yourself. Okay, yeah. Oh, dear. So, yeah, I don't think I'll keep that going. The monthly update videos, I think I'm going to drop as well. I'll probably just do a stream for it like this towards the beginning of every month going forward, just to cover the same shit. But I do kind of want to replace both of those with something. I do want to get more writing stuff out as well, kind of building up for that. Still working through what did I end up calling it? The red coins, I think, is what I ended up calling it. So that is now a complete story. I've only put the start up on cakeverse.co.uk, and that was draft 1. I'm on draft 3 now. I'm hoping to read through that over the weekend, see if draft 3 is okay, and then I'm going to put that up somewhere. Whether I put that up on Patreon as a test to see how their store works or not, I haven't decided yet. Or if I just put it up for free as various file formats on Cakeverse, I honestly don't know. Time will tell. But yeah, I do want to get more written stuff going. I would like to get to a point where I'm doing a continuing story on Cakeverse with a weekly update. Still haven't decided how that will work. Probably won't try and do that until the beginning of next year, though. I may try and do a weekly Friday story through December. Obviously not today because I haven't started it. I may do it after stream. But again, haven't 100% decided about that yet. And part of me is very tempted. And as we go through this gameplay, I'll kind of explain how that would work as well. Part of me is tempted to try and do a 5-minute story YouTube video. So just me talking, telling a story for about 5 minutes as a weekly thing. And that story will be designed by dice rolls and random chance. And again, like I said, I'll talk through a little bit how that would work as we when we go to the next section here. God, I need a coffee to keep my throat lubricated. But yeah, I think probably through December there'll probably be less stuff coming out. I also do need to decide realistically if I can push through another year doing streaming and all the other stuff, or if I have to start looking for work outside of that. Haven't made that decision yet, but realistically I do need to sit down and go through everything and work out what I'm going to do going forward. When's the lottery draw for the one lottery I've got a few tickets for? The 21st of December. I'll make my decision after that, I guess. When I win the minimum 300,000 top prize. I don't know what it's up to at the moment. That'll work. I've got 2 tickets. That'll get me the win. I hate these. I'm going to go on it. I hate these lottery tickets. So these are the tickets for the Christmas lottery over here. And you'll notice I've never minded the Christmas lottery as a thing, right? You used to be £1 a ticket. It's now £2 a ticket. And the cash prize goes up based on how many people buy the lottery tickets, right? And the Christmas lottery used to be big money. Like it used to go over 1 million almost every year. Didn't go very high at all last year. And it's because they've added this stupid scratch card section to the Christmas lottery. I don't even know what the prizes are on the scratch card section, actually. It probably says. It actually doesn't say what the prizes are for the instant one. I don't know how much you can win. I don't think it's a lot. I really don't think it's a lot. But I don't like scratch card lotteries. I don't know why. I don't know. I do not like this. I get that it's instant. I get that you will get instant gratification if you win. It's basically like Vegas gambling or slot machines. Whereas obviously the Christmas lottery is you buy a ticket and you wait and you pray. But I know I just have something I don't like about them. And I've been talking to people who play the Christmas lottery. Like normally you in work, you get a lot of work syndicates to do the lottery. Normally you would win every, I don't know. Does it say the odds on here? It doesn't actually say the... You used to have to put the conditions on. God, they've changed their systems. But yeah, apparently the win rate of these scratch card sections is terrible this year. I think it's because they're trying to put more money into the main prize to make that more appealing, but I don't know. Anyway, that was a side tangent. But if one of my 2 tickets wins, you're playing for me as well. But yes, that would... I don't... What are the other prizes? What's second prize? Do you know what? Even the second prize of 50,000 would do. That could keep me alive for a year, buy me a laptop, and possibly a fancy new smoker. That's what I put on my list to Father Christmas. Have you all written your list to Father Christmas? If the lists to Father Christmas go by the same delivery service that On Owen uses to get stuff to me from Canada, if you haven't sent it already, you're probably too late. Just so you know. If the prize was large enough, yes, relocation would definitely be considered. Whether that involves moving away from the island or just into my own place, if the prize was large enough, that is the first thing I would do. If I'm 100% honest. Owen's Father Christmas from when he was 12, just now got to Father Christmas. Oh dear. But yes, it's this wasteland. I'm going to call it a wasteland. This wasteland between like the start of December and Christmas happening to me is one of the worst periods of the year, and I know a lot of people love it, and I understand it, but to me, I mean, the shops are just full of people trying to sell you absolute junk. And you buy it in the name of Christmas and then you throw it away Boxing Day, the 26th, and I don't get it. Oh, do you have a whiskey advent calendar? I don't normally do advent calendars anymore. Oh, dear. Do you know, that explains... I honestly had forgotten it was the 1st of December today. That explains why so many people, when I went to the shop yesterday, were buying bloody advent calendars. I know Rai had one once, yeah. You have a shortbread one? I do like the reusable... I don't know if anybody has seen it. Look it up. It's the reusable Die Hard advent calendar. And it's Hans Gruber falling off Nakatomi Plaza. Oh, dear. That, to me, is the kind of advent calendar you need, right? Anyway, chat, I'm going to go make myself a coffee. I will be back as soon as I can. I hit starting soon rather than be right back. All right. I'm back. Oh, dear. Do any fun advent calendar this year, right, dog? Also, I think we might be getting to near the end of the song queue already. There are 2 songs on the list. Just didn't have time to sponge for everything. No, fair enough. But Yeah, I've already said to everybody that I'm really not, I don't want Christmas presents from the family really, and I'm not really going to buy Christmas presents, but I think last year I bought everybody a Toblerone and then I ate 3 of them. That's how that's meant to work, right? I don't know what I'm going to get for the nephew. You've got your gift from the Hubs already? And it was a nice gift. Better than shitting in their shoes, which is what they deserve. Got to get stuff for the niece and nephews. Yeah, I'll probably have a look on Amazon over the weekend, see if anything jumps out at me as a good present for the nephew. The thing is, the nephew doesn't really need anything. So it's very hard to, because his mother provides love through money. So he basically gets whatever he wants. I mean, you should see the fancy car he's driving. And then I remember my first car, with the gear stick that you had to hold in place or it would jump out. That was a good car. Oh, my first car also didn't have power steering. And I remember going from my instructor's car, which did have power steering, to so got my license, got the car. Oh God, we're out of songs already. Fill up that queue, chat. Fill up that queue. Yeah, so I'm going from a car with power steering to a car without power steering. Oh my God, the muscles I developed driving that car. Holy shit. That was a good car. That was a Volkswagen Polo. Ah, dear. All right. Sorry, chat. I'm just looking for songs now. Oh no, I went to YouTube and there was my face because I forgot I was streaming on YouTube as well. That's fine. Don't worry about it. And I have to remember how song requests work. Oh, I also sent that request to YouTube as well. I forgot that happened. This is some quality streaming content here. Me just looking through. Most of which will probably be skipped. Oh, has anybody been keeping up with the new South Park game? It's not out for a while, but that looks interesting. Excuse me. That sneeze got away from me. All right, anyway, let's go to the second section of the stream, shall we? So I drop. Oh, God, which one's Big Face? Is this Big Face? Yes. Also, chat, anyone got any nice plans for the weekend? Hopefully tomorrow I can go and start getting weapons to wage war on the mice. Oh, get some proper food to put in the fridge as well. Because the mice can't get in the fridge. It depends if your COVID test finally comes back negative or not. Oh, dear. Going to an anniversary party for a brewery where your friend is head brewer. Oh, very nice. Don't go clubbing at random house parties. Will do. So I think most of you are vaguely familiar with Tailspire. The look and feel of it hasn't changed. I still think building in it is rather clunky. You got D&D on Sunday? So, like, yeah, this is kind of a test lab. So there's like a few various things lying around. But that's not the important part. Also, there's the import from Hero Forge I do like. So this one here is a character I made of myself. Let's put you up on the table so we can show you off a little bit more. And everything that was I felt was important to a piece of cake character, right? A boombox, a baguette, and some kind of cupcake. And I believe Tommy Gun, yes. I'll miss you, good cuisine royale. So yeah, I've been playing around with Cortex Prime. So Cortex Prime, like I said, is an interesting game system. So it tries to be fairly light on rules. So like with D&D, especially when you get into anything really, right? D&D is fairly rules heavy. So if you want to lockpick a door, you're going to send in someone who's a good thief because they'll have a higher lockpicking score or whatever, and then you roll, you roll the dice and you win or you lose. Cortex Prime is again about rolling dice, but rather than having a set difficulty for everything, so like the GM may say, okay, you want to pick this lock, it's a hard lock, it's a magic lock, blah 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 blah. You're going to have to roll a 25, for example, right? D&D. To open it, you either roll the 25 or you don't. Cortex Prime goes a slightly different, although not overly different way, in that everything you try to do, you roll against somebody else. So there's always a competition. And then what your dice pool is made up of skills, etc., that you have. At the time, we'll switch over to Foundry at some point, and I'll go a little bit more into it. But like if you said in Cortex that you wanted to lockpick a door, you again would choose the best skills that would help you with lockpick. And you do that by describing how they would help. And if you've got any items, like if you've got a lockpick, that would put a dice into your dice pool. And then you roll. Cortex uses the D4 up to a D12. I don't like the fact that the D100 is in the middle here. The 12 should be here and the 100 should be here, but that's fine. I'm sure they're working. I'm assuming this is a D100 anyway. It is indeed. But yes, you'll be at the end here. Something they need to fix. So the game I'm trying to make, and I'm started to formulate in my mind, and kind of what this setup is meant to be, is it's a take on, I don't know if anyone has ever watched like the Great British Bake Off or any of those kind of shows, like competition shows. I'm trying to do a take on that where with various dice rolls, etc., based on what is picked to make, you have to try and make the best one and get the best judgment from the judges. These are the judges up here. I have no idea how this is going to work. At this moment in time, well, not no idea. I have a vague idea of how this will work. And how to give you... So kind of the story I've got in mind for the initial playthrough is that my character is trying to win for reasons that we don't know. And there will be different ways that you can pull that off, basically, as you go through the different rounds and scenarios. I believe... I don't know if I want to click on that because I can't remember what that tells me. Hang on, I can see if it works by going over here.
Oh, you are a professional, Boss Bird.
That definitely didn't work, so maybe it doesn't activate straight away every time. Bear with me 1 second, just in case it shows something I don't want it to show. I think you don't have to be in it for it to work. Okay, no, that's working now. Looks like you do have to start every symbiote every time. So what you're seeing at the side here is actually Foundry brought into Tailspire, kind of. There is a plugin which means I could do the dice rolls from here and they'd come out here, but I don't have that on at the moment. But this is kind of how they're trying to make Tailspire useful, is through what they call symbiotes. And it kind of works and it kind of doesn't, in my opinion. But we'll get there in a minute. But yes, trying to design a game while trying to work out how Cortex Prime actually works. So like I say, Cortex Prime is a very open game system, and they want you to mod it and they want you to force it into whatever world you want it to work in. And this really is a test. I would like to do, and again, this goes back to that idea of doing 5-minute story videos. I would like to start telling a very large Cakeverse story, or a story in the Cakeverse. And one of the key tenets about the Cakeverse is that it is not genre locked. The whole point is that it's not fantasy, it's not science fiction, it's not Western, it's whatever the fuck you want it to be, right? But then to make that work, you need to have a decent core that can kind of fit to that, right? And I have no idea how that's going to work. So we're kind of starting with this weird bake-off program, And it's also kind of the reason why I picked fairly different contestants to try and make the things that they do have a little bit of flavor for each of them. So like we've got an astronaut, a skeleton. I think this is meant to be Krampus, and then me, who is hiding behind my face. We don't need little face. We get rid of little face. And then the same is true of the judges. The judges would want different things, but that's we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, let me get to the contest thing again. So I think what I would like to be able to do is play this against Twitch chat, because I think that would be interesting. So have them doing roles for me to roll against. Because again, I would like to make it as interactive as possible, and there are other ways that would work as well. Going forward. But yes, so in very basic terms, let's say these 4 characters have all baked a cake, right? So in very basic terms, every one of them would try to get a dice pool together, and then it really would be highest wins. So the way it works with dice pools in... can I clear this, or do I have to roll them? I have to roll them. Let's get chat up. Let's hide you. I believe I could do... Can I do roles as characters, or does it... Oh, I honestly can't remember now. So yeah. So let's say these two are having a bake-off, right? So they're both trying to bake a cake. You can go up to a D12 based on your skills. We haven't got that side yet, so I can't go into that. But let's say, based on what I've got, I can do a dice pool of 1, 6, 1, 8, and 1, 12. Right? So I roll those. And they're very large. And I get a 17. However, that's not quite how it works in Cortex Prime. So in Cortex Prime, you can only ever use 2 dice for your total score. The other one is used for something called effect, which I don't know how I would work into this, but I think you probably could as well. In fact, you definitely can when it gets to the judging part. Actually, that works really well. Sorry, chat. This is going to be me thinking out loud a lot. Hopefully that's interesting. So I would take, bearing in mind I'm not going to do effect, I would take the 8 and the 5, which would give me a 13, right? So then Krampus can do 2 8s, a 12, and there's something called plot points in Cortex Prime, which I'll go into. He's going to spend a plot point to put in an extra 10, right? Just gives him a bigger pool to take his totals from. So he then rolls those. They definitely didn't get stuck in the corner there. So he would take... He's going to lose. Because his best is a 7 and a 4. So he would be 11. And he would also lose on effect dice as well, but that's fine. No, he wouldn't. We would be equal on effect dice, right? No, he could take the 10, so he would win on effect. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So in a basic principle, based on this bake-off, and again, I think you would keep the scores for all of them. So I would have had a 13 cake. He would have had an 11 cake, right? But there'd be more to it because you've got to try and get gameplay into it and somehow make the judges important, which is where rounds and stuff comes into it. Again, thinking out loud. But yeah, that's kind of the basics of how Cortex Prime works. So whenever you try to do something, you roll against somebody else. Normally a GM, or in this case, you'd be rolling against everybody here because you're in a contest with 3 other people whenever you roll. And then when it comes to judging, you would have to roll against the judges somehow. I don't know how that would work. But that's the basic, very basic principles. So if we now switch over to Foundry, which at the moment has got all of the real stuff, all of the gubbins that works. Tailspire is still very empty when it comes to back-end stuff. So you need something like Foundry, or Tailspire can now connect to Roll20 for character sheets, and you can roll from character sheets. It can, let's bring Small Face back. Are you Small Face? Yes. Can connect into D&D Beyond as well, so you can roll from character sheets there, which makes it a lot more useful to play with. So yes, this is, again, I'm trying to explain Cortex Prime 1 because I'm trying to understand it myself. And in fact, I should have in here the Cortex Prime PDF just in case we need to refer to it. I'll put you over there for now. Running out of screen space. So yeah, Cortex Prime wants you to have basically 3 main sets that you can pull dice from, right? This is where I've kind of always glaze over. Where's the index? Do you not have an index page? Well, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I was hoping it would have had a clickable index page so I could jump. I'm sure it does. Am I just seeing every other page? I am seeing just every other page. Because it wants to do this, which is annoying. Apparently I can't just make it go single page. Alright, that's honestly dumb, but that's fine. So yeah, it does have an index page. I thought it did. No, we want to ignore Cortex Prime for now. We just kind of want to get to the kind of gameplay scenario, I think. So this is what I've got so far. I've called it the Great British Cake Off. Not a name that would stick, but for now. Oh, look, I even had it was a 5-day competition. So yeah, so the idea behind the 5-day competition is that you can try to finagle yourself to a win. So there will be a leaderboard. There will be points given for every rank from 1 to 4, and then you try and fight your way to the top of the leaderboard by making the best cakes, or maybe using the more, let's say, less scrupulous means. It's kind of trying to get to how that would work, which is where I'm kind of going through at the moment. So I think the obvious main segments of a kind of gameplay loop is the bake of the day, which I've already put down. The judgment would have to be there. And again, I've no idea how these are going to play through. What else would you need? I think you would need a section here, like For now, we'll call it early morning. Between the bake of the day and the judgment, I think you would need... We'll have to give these all better names. Don't know why you came up. Then you would need the judgment, and then I think you would need something like an evening. So then I think what early morning would consist of... don't want a table, I want bullet points. Not there, though. So I think you would have to draw from something that doesn't exist, the dish deck. So I think in the dish deck would be what you're trying to make that day, right? And I don't know how in depth to go with that. And whether there should be certain things you're trying to do, or they can give you bonus points. I think you would. Certain things you could try to do so that you could take bonus dice into your pool to try and get the better item, I think. So I don't know how complicated they would look. But yeah, I think that works. You'd probably want a dish with 3 main things you can try and hit, which if you then hit during the bake of the day, you can use to your advantage. And if you don't hit, maybe you should use them as a disadvantage, or you could use them as a disadvantage against someone who does, I don't know, by playing a plot point, that could work. But anyway, you would draw the dish. So part of that then you might have an ingredients list. What else do you want to do? Because basically you want to try and get some kind of advantage, disadvantage. I think you would have to allow for player character interaction. And I think this is where you would basically try and cheat. So maybe an ingredient rush as well. I don't think I spelled that correctly, but that's fine. See, I feel like in the early morning you could try and... I don't know why you keep on popping up. I'm just going to put you over there. You seem to have a mind of your own. Yeah, I feel like at the PC interaction early morning, you could try to, and the same with the evening as well, you could try to stop somebody being there. I don't think you could do it on day one. I don't think that would be fair. But I think if you know that if like player character 3 is definitely going to win, you could try to make it that he doesn't make it to the bake of the day kind of idea. And that would give you advantages, disadvantages based on how that went. That would basically be the game's version of combat, I think. Oh, dear. Again, chat very much is thinking out loud here. Okay, I think what you should also be able to do with combat, I think the creations that you make throughout the day, throughout the days, become basically like combat pets. And you can do a turn-based combat system. Which could also then become interesting, because then if you take out a dish would you lock in your points? Or could you always change the... Like, if you put your blue ribbon winning bread and you pit that against a blue ribbon winning cake in some kind of fight, the cake loses. Is that cake then removed from the judgment, which would change the table? I think that would be interesting, actually. I don't know how you would balance the different dishes to make them basically combat characters, but... But they would only be removed if killed, and killing something in this game in Cortex Prime is not easy. So you would have to keep on fighting, and you could just withdraw at any time, but withdrawing would give you a penalty going into the next round. All right, so what else? I think that's all you do in early morning, right? So this is where we get into... So the bank of the day really only involves... Oh, no. You really do have a little bit of a life of your own, don't you? Oh, it's because you went down to the public role for some reason. Okay, don't sing. I do. My throat could not take singing the entirety of the song as Eric Cartman. Doesn't mean I'm still not tempted to try. This is where we start to think about what qualities a dish would have. There must be, on the internet, there must be a... All right, what is the World Championship for judging foods process? Execution, appearance, taste. Let's see if we can work that into it, shall we? Probably want a couple more, but that is interesting. Because then you can roll on each based on what you have. Can give you better or worse. I would have to flip over to Tailspy for that, but it did get the dice. They don't auto roll at the moment. I would need to work on that. You rolled a 00. Oh dear. What are the chances? All right, let's flip back here. All right, that gives us a good basis of the... So I think we would then need to break each of these out into some kind of gameplay system. Okay, there isn't a spell checker in here. Oh, dear. Yeah, so trying to come up with I don't know if you've ever watched any of the shows like Great British Bake Off or basically any show like Wow, they went way overboard with the Great British one. There's like Great British Artist, Great British Woodworker, Great British Man Who Does the Biggest Shit. But any of those kind of shows where you make something and then you're judged on it, basically. The Great British Politician, we haven't had one of those for years. Can you be great and a politician? You can be British and a politician. But yes, trying to come up with a... I'm also trying to teach myself Cortex Prime. That's kind of the main reason I'm doing this. But trying to come up with... gameplay loop that could make this work. Just because, I'm trying to get back into that. The other tool we have, which isn't showing itself, and I don't actually know how to bring it back up. That's to make the custom dice pool. It doesn't matter. So if you then break out each of the EAT into a... Oh my God, here we go. If you want to talk about a song that doesn't end, here you go. And then we'd have to work out what those gameplay loops would be for each one. Again, it's Cortex Prime, so everything will be a contest against somebody. Whether you make it always a contest against all of the other competitors, or if you just do one-on-one, and maybe you can spend plot points to challenge more people. I don't know. Oh, I think another thing I would want to do here in the early morning is the ability to... Don't know what you would call it. The very basic Cortex Prime primer is... So if you see this character sheet here, which I haven't designed yet, this is the very basic one. So distinctions are meant to be your basic skills. So I think if we're trying to replicate D&D in this system, distinctions would be like intelligence, dex, strength, those kind of things, right? Signature assets would be... I don't know, probably feats? And then your new trait set would be like your skills, right? Things you can do, basically. And then you can have special effects and rules that change. But the basic thing is you would then take a dice from every set that you can to make a pool. You make your dice pool. You roll your dice against somebody else, normally the GM. If you score higher, you win. If they score higher, they win. A loss doesn't mean you failed necessarily. It just means you haven't won how you wanted to. And then there's effect dice and all other things that make it more complicated. But that's kind of the basic primer. Normally, whenever you lose a roll, you will get a plot point. Plot points can be spent in different ways to either add dice to a roll or to make a special effect work. So one of your traits may have a special effect that you can change one, like a D8 to a D10 for your roll. You have to spend a pot point to make it work. That's kind of the basic thing. The thing I would need to work out for this game to kind of really do a playthrough or a test is to work out what my distinctions, assets, and traits would be. And then assets and complications are short-lived. So in this particular example, if on day one I made a cake and it was the third prize cake, so again, it's a D4 to a D12. So you could say if you make the blue ribbon cake, that gives you a 12 to add to your dice rolls. If you can use the cake in that dice roll, for example. Whereas if you make the worst one, it would be a 4, right? Yes, you absolutely can. So we could say that either the trait sets or the signature assets relate directly to eat in some way. So you always have like something you can use and you can decide which one you're better at. Maybe. Like that is definitely an idea. And then what you could have is you could say the final trait set could actually be items, for example. So let's say I give myself a whisk with a special effect with a plot point that if I spend the plot point, I can put in an extra dice for every taste roll, right? Sprinkles to help with appearance. Like that's the kind of idea. Or you could say that sprinkles, because I've got this ingredient rush, you could say that sprinkles would become a temporary asset. So rather than being a trait or a signature asset, it could be a throwaway thing. You could only use sprinkles once, but they would give you another 12 for your dice pool. Right? It would play more like a board game, I think, rather than a traditional tabletop RPG, yes. Just because there would be card decks involved to decide on the dishes you have to make. Yes, hang on. So in early morning, I want you to be able to basically spy on a judge. God, we haven't had this for a while. Because I think what you would need to be able to do is be able to, if you win your role, look at the judge's stat card to work out. So obviously, each says you do the execution like this, right? Each judge would probably have different weightings, right? So one judge might put 100% to taste and not care about anything else. And if you know that going in, then you would put all of your rolls into taste to win the to win that day, or at least that judge, and then that could give you the win, right? Again, I'm very much thinking out loud as I'm trying to piece this together in my mind. So the afternoon stage, then, I think what would be interesting in the afternoon is if you could mess with other PCs' creations in some way. So again, you could have an asset which is poison, which you could then, if you win your roll, put on to enemies' dish, which would then put their score down, right? All those kind of things, right? So it's because again, I'm trying to think if you're playing this, how you can, well, one, make it fun. Obviously, fun is what you're going for, but two, how do you give people enough opportunities to really try and change the outcome, right? Always a Sunday stream to play test. I don't think you could mess with the other PC creations, finding out would it be worthwhile doing another spy on the judge? I don't think so, because I think you would then learn too much for the final day. I also wish you would stop reappearing. I don't know why you are. So what else would you want to do in the afternoon? Maybe another ingredient rush? Because in the morning ingredient rush, you would be pushing for stuff you know you need for that day, right? You know your dish, so you can then try and get specific stuff. In the afternoon, you could just try and get other stuff just to fill up your inventory. Yeah, maybe. I don't mind repeating steps. I don't think you want to... You could do another combat. No, I don't think you'd want to. I think you could mess with PC creation to make it worse in a different way. I don't know if you'd really want to do anything else in the afternoon. So then the judgment. I don't know how this would be interesting or how you can change it as a player. That's going to be the important part, I think, here. During the actual judgment process. I guess you could try to butter up a judge. Bribe a judge? What else could you do? The judgment itself would also have to be a dice roll, and I don't know how that works. So bribe a judge would be something the player does. When you get to... I didn't press anything that time, and this just came back up. Do I have a ghost in my system? Always. I'm also kind of wondering, I'm just going to flip back to Tailspire for a little bit. Because I'd planned on 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 rounds, which I think is what I put on the other thing as well. The idea being that if this was a board, you would put your dishes out with the ribbons. I've obviously moved a candle here and didn't put it back, but that's fine. So you're trying to bribe a judge. Well, there are different things you could do to try and make a judge go in your favor, right? You could bribe them, you could try to intimidate, but they're all going to be the same, basically the same part of the game. But no, what I was saying while I came back to Tailspire, should there be a board layout? Hey, Ewok, how's it going? Happy Friday to you as well. I hope you're doing well. I don't think so. You could make the ingredient rush an exploration round. That could work. Because the other question I'm asking myself is, do you want... So, like, take Blackstone Fortress. Blackstone, not Blackrock. Blackrock is something different. Take Blackstone Fortress, or just a dungeon crawl in D&D, right? And then you're kind of thinking about how long do you want this game to last? Do you make the ingredient rush a basically a dungeon crawl for everyone who's playing to see what they can find and get in a certain. I think you would say you only have X number of turns, and you can get because you could pick up assets and complications. So the difference between an asset and a complication in Cortex Prime is an asset is something you use in a roll against somebody else. A complication is something that somebody can use against you in a roll against you. Right? So if you've got a complication, they can add that as a dice to their dice pool if it makes sense to do so. Again, the main conceit of Cortex Prime being it's always a contest. A contest between dice pools. I kind of like the idea of a dungeon crawl element to the... let's go back to Foundry. To the ingredient rush. Which I'm then wondering if you don't do the PC interaction, you do the combat as part of the dungeon crawl side. Maybe put the PC interaction down to the afternoon so the dish can disappear from judgment if you win. If you're willing to put one of your winning dishes against it. That might make more sense. Not both morning and aft. Chose one. That'll do. All right. So it's not quite just going to be bribe. It's going to be manipulate somehow. This has come back up. Good. Manipulate a judge. Bribe, intimidate. I need to get an M in there. Intimidate. Blackmail, etc. And then judge based on eat with different weights per judge. I think distinctions would be the eat categories, right? You need them to put into every meal, but then I think based on your character type, you would have different flavors of them, right? So, because this isn't just about baking, we could be cooking everything. So let's take my character in the game, who I've decided is a master baker. They'd be good at baking things, breads, cakes, etc. Let's say Rydog put in a character, they would probably be better at smoking things, right? They could always try to smoke a cake, because why the fuck not? If they can make it work to their advantage, right? So if we say the set of distinctions have to fit with your character's theme, and then they would give you a different dice bonus based on an eat category, because then for every dish you have to roll for each of them, and then you try to make up your deficiencies based on your assets and possibly your signature assets and your trait sets. I think that would work. Can you be a master beta? All right, let's just go here then and do... I just need to make myself a note. Distinctions based on eat. Flavored around each distinction set. So again, you could have baker, smoker. Don't know why you've come up again. What other kind of pastry chef? I put pasty. Pastry, greasy spoon, French. So each of these can have different distinctions based on what would fit in for a set, and I'd have to build those up. But I think that's not a bad idea. So again, hinder here, I was talking about special. I don't know how readable any of this is on stream, by the way. But hinder is a special effect, which is always attached to distinctions. So if I swap this 8 for a 4, I get a plot point. I think that's all you want to do for the judgment. And then the evening, evening should not have a bullet point. There we go. All right, so PC interaction, remove a PC from the next day. No, I don't want to remove a player from the next day. Challenge a PC. Winner gains asset, loser complication. So that'd be an asset you could roll for your dish, and then a complication that the other person would have to roll for their dish, which would be a negative to their number. Which I think makes sense. I wonder if you should spy on the judge in the evening rather than the morning. Oh no, what about if in the morning you spy on a judge for eat, score, weight? You'd only ever have, well, you would have to do it 3 times to know the perfect eat score for one judge. There would be minimum of 3 judges. You would only ever get 5 goes at it. I think that would work. And if there are more judges, then you would learn even less. Hey, Mango, how's it going? Sort of D&D, using the Cortex Prime rule set. I'm trying to teach myself Cortex Prime, so I'm trying to make a game world that I can then try and fit to its rules, and then have a little playthrough one day. The software itself that we're looking at right now is called Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I'm tempted to ask if somehow someone has got into this. Does someone know my IP address and broke into this and is just opening that up every now and again? Oh, dear. No, the only other player in is the one that's on in Tailspire. So yeah, what I like about Foundry, for anyone interested. If you've ever used Roll20 or D&D Beyond, it's like that. It's a virtual tabletop, but it's one that you own, and you can mod it, add any game world you want, and then host it yourself, which I quite like. It's more like Roll20 in that regard. Roll20 has a lot of different games you can play through it, whereas D&D Beyond is obviously D&D. I think you'd have to do something else in the evening. Like this is important. I don't think it would be fun from a player perspective to be able to be knocked out of a day of contest. But I'm also not sure. As if you're playing it as a single player game, being able to knock out another contestant, I think would be fine. So maybe if you do multiplayer, you'd have to allow it as well. Chance to knock out an opponent for a day? Question mark. So there'd have to be something else in the evening. Do you do another ingredient rush dungeon crawl? What about a card draw for... Hello again. For a random item. Oh, how about rather than an ingredient rush, you do the same kind of thing, but you do a kitchen drawer rush. So then the item would be some kind of kitchen item. Whisk. What else might you find in the kitchen that would help? Wooden spoon. Bowl of extra flavor. All right, does this in any way sound like a fun game to play? Ah, dear. Sorry, chat, I'm just reading through what I've already put down. With the eat rolls, I think you would just challenge. I'm trying to decide whether... So if you've got 4 people playing, does everybody challenge everybody? I.e. you do a roll and then highest wins, lowest loses, and you just kind of place them there, or... Because in the cooking stage, you're definitely trying to put competitors... I think you would challenge... Every character would be able to challenge one other character with the ability to use plot points to do a secondary challenge, maybe. So I think what you would do, because then that would put, if you challenge someone, so let's say I wanted to challenge someone to appearance. Okay. Sorry, chat. I really am just thinking this through. What if, as part of the cooking day, you do your cooking rolls, which are just you, and you're just rolling in each category, right? Based on whatever assets, distinctions, signatures, and traits you've got to get your best scores, right? Now, again, Cortex Prime only uses D4 to a D12. I could put a D20 in there if I wanted to. You could put any dice in there that you want to, honestly. Tailspire goes up to a D100. So let's say you do all of your rolls for the different sections of whatever the dish of the day is, right? And obviously every time you play around, you have the dish of the day song playing. Don't license it, obviously. You just have it going through your boombox for free until you get told off. No, don't get distracted. The boombox is something that Police of Cake would have. Probably as some kind of item, which I think would be the trait set. But let's not get distracted by that. We're still working out the general rules. So what would I be rolling? No, I'm not rolling against anything. I'm just rolling to get a score, first of all. Right? So So I make a cake. I need to roll for E, A, and T. Right? For each of them, we would just roll 2d8s just to keep it simple. Hello again. All right, so E gives me a 12. No, hang on. I got a 6. It wasn't a 12. E is a 6. A is an 11. And then T is a 8. So that is my cake. We don't know what people's would you know what other people's totals are at this stage? Yes. I think you would have to. I think everyone would have to make their cakes and then reveal. No, I don't think you would. There has to be a little bit of chance and randomness to this, right? But I make my cake, and then Rydog makes his cake. So he's got a 13 in eat. Sorry, in E. Oh, God. A 15 in A. He's kicking my ass. So he wins in absolutely every category. God damn it, Rydog. Hello again. But I don't know that. All right, so this is me. This is Rydog. Don't you forget it. So I don't know that. So, wow, violent. But as me, okay, so I know my lowest score is an E. So what I want to do is I want to challenge Rydog on E as we listen to Mr. Blobby. God, Mr. Blobby was fucking creepy as hell. So how would that work? This is where the effect die would come in, which we didn't roll. So let's say those are the 3 dice that I was going to roll. So oh, okay. This is the other part of Cortex Prime I was forgetting, where we can start to put in things. So on that roll, a 1 was rolled. So a 1 is a hindrance. So we'd have to work that into it as well. Technically, that isn't correct, because if we use it as the effect dice, that would only be a 5, because you lost one of your dice as a hindrance. Is how I understood that to work, but maybe I was wrong. But yeah, let's say I did. So that's a 7, and we'll do a 4 in brackets. And then we'll do same roll again. So it was an 8, an 8, and a 4. Oh, hang on, I see. I had to then... That adds them to the pool. We're going to... So I should be able to choose which one I use from my effect dice. So I could go for the highest total. Or I'm going to... So if I do 8 and 5... I don't know what you're trying to achieve here. All right, so we put that in the total, we put that in the total. Then that's my effect dice. That is correct. But I don't want to do that. So can I then... Okay, so I can remove that. So I want to put that in the total. And then this should be my effect dice. There shouldn't be a 4 though. I don't know why that comes in. So then I confirm that. And Rydog Z is now 11 plus an 8, which again, I don't know. Oh, we're out of music again, Chet. But then I know that I want to try and get my E up, because who doesn't want to get the E up? I haven't got any blue pills, so I'm going to have to challenge Rydog. Which is fine. Trying to think through how this challenge would work. So you would have to put in a distinction, which we don't have yet. You would put in the effect die. Do. But anyway, what would be the point? So I challenge Rydog to an E. If I win, we don't add the effect die. If I win, I add my effect die to my score. If he wins, he adds his effect die to his score. If I lose, I take my effect dice away. That could work. Basically, if you challenge someone, and I think, yes, as a player, you can challenge one of your EAT against one of the other players or characters' EAT. And that's it for the cooking stage. So we do the initial roll. I don't know how to make you go back out in this particular program. Thank you for coming back. So then there is a PC challenge. Eat versus eat. Hey, cheers for the alert, Rydog, and have a good weekend if I don't see you beforehand. Which will then change your score. Which makes sense. So yeah, so we're making the initial roll is not a challenge. It's just a roll. It's just a total. We'd have to decide what hindrances did. That's fine. But I can challenge one against somebody else. Who would I choose? You would choose against who's winning in the grand scheme of things, right? So again, there's 5 days. There's a running total. This idea of being able to remove a dish, I think, is interesting because then you can really start to mess with the total. So you've always got a chance of winning. But again, everything is a challenge. So if you win, you remove the dish. If you lose, your dish is removed. So there's always a risk reward. Or maybe they're not removed. You get an advantage or a complication to the next one. We'll see. All right, so in my mind, let's go through a round. So I draw a card from my dish deck. Okay. We do an ingredient rush, which is a dungeon crawl. So probably 5 turns. Fight the... So find and fight the ingredients. Win equals asset. Loss equals complication. And then each ingredient would give you an EAT modifier. All right, so based on that, ignore the terrible spelling. Hello again. So based on that, then I think the challenge then, because you would always know their assets and complications. So if I'm rolling against Rydog, and let's say he'd done the ingredient rush and he got himself some, I don't know, burnt sprinkles, right? I can then use that complication in my roll against him to get the win, which would then change the scores. The complication would be used, and then it'd be the same with assets. If he did a roll against me, so rather than using the assets in the initial roll, you use them in the combat stage. Or do you choose? You could do both. You could use it in the asset stage. It only gives you an extra die. It doesn't necessarily put your score up. But you could only ever use it once. That could be interesting. So for manipulating a judge. So again, I think we're getting to signature assets. I think would have to be based on how you manipulate a judge, and how I would work those into the cooking thing, I don't know. But that's fine. You would have to have different. I guess you could do charm. Charm would be good for bribe. How would you do it in D&D? If you're trying to intimidate, you'd probably use strength. So maybe you do bring the D&D kind of things in as well, like charm, strength. I think I've decided new trait set. So, charisma is kind of the thing, but you know what I mean. Like you could have blackmail. You could have a sneak asset, which would have to play into the other side of your character. So let's say, for example, I decided I want to be a ninja master baker, right? So the master baker would play into my distinctions. The ninja would play into my signature assets. So obviously ninja would be better at sneaking, maybe intelligence gathering. Because if you're going to intimidate, you'd probably want to use, strength for intimidate, but blackmail. Oh my goodness, where did these cupcakes come from? Exactly. So you could be good for bribery. So I think that would be interesting, right? So Sigas based on class, for want of a better term. So I ninja. Well, no, your class would be baker, right? Well, we'd have to work out. So then again, e.g. Baker Ninja. You picked up some Unreal 5 courses this past week, Keiki. Haven't started yet, but maybe can help eventually. Oh, nice. When my Windows installation destroyed itself, I lost all of my Unreal 5 project. Which I'll admit is another reason why I've gone back to the simple, trying to get something to work in Foundry kind of idea. Hello again. And then yes, so I think the trait set, I think I've almost got to a stage where I can try and actually build this into a workable model. So I think trait set would be based on your utensils. That's the word I was looking for before. Oh my God, I spelled that correctly. So again, whisk, spoon, etc. So I think you would start with one, based on the two classes above, for want of a better word. Based on the two classes chosen, and then you would possibly gain one per kitchen run. I think we do the combat against the ingredients. I think that makes sense. And then I think for the kitchen drawer rush, I think it is just random chance from cards. Some which will work well with your set. So like say a baker got a bread pan, that'd be very useful for him. Whereas if someone who just does bacon and eggs get a bread pan, not so useful for them, right? And then we'd have to work out those scores based on... So I'm basically saying items are more linked to... Okay, so then somewhere do we want to put in ingredients and assets? They're going to be temporary, once-use things. That's fine. Do you want to be able to add... Could you decide to, rather than just kitchen drawer... Hello again. Rather than just kitchen drawer, could you also do like a... I don't know, like a training drawer as well? Which again, I think would be card drawer. But based on ninja class. Again, we'll have to give these different names. So you could then decide in the evening, do you want to... Basically, are you going to try and win by baking, or are you going to try and win by cheating, right? Because ideally, you want to be fairly competent at both. And I think, because what you want to be able to do, because, again, if I'm a baker and we get bread, I'm more likely, because I'm going to have stronger rolls, well, at least stronger dice, I'm more likely to make the better dish, right? Again, I use the idea of me as a baker, Rydog as a smoker, right? Whereas if the dish we pick out is rack of ribs, Rydog is much more likely, because he's going to have the better dice, he's going to have the better distinctions, to make the better dish, right? And you can make that decision right. First thing you do in the morning is you decide what the dish is, so you can then decide your strategy for that day. So I then decide, should the kitchen drawer and the training drawer rush then? No, first day, always about cooking. Second day, you can then start to decide. So, I don't think I want a second ingredient. Do you want a second ingredient rush in the afternoon? I think the more assets you've got, the more kind of fun you can have with it. You could then have an asset, a signature asset, or a trait, or a distinction that would allow you to add more than one asset to a dish, just to try and get your score up. They'd be on traits. I think you'd want them to be on the items. So then possibly have like... Rather than having two card draws, do you give an item a special effect that can work in either way? So a whisk would be beneficial, probably mostly in baking. You know, whisking ribs probably doesn't help. But, you know, whisking your ingredients together for a cake would be a benefit. But then a whisk would also be good. So again, we'd have to work out what the stats were. I could try to intimidate somebody with a whisk. So do you have it so rather than having two draws, you only just have the one? It means each item, because then it means each item is more likely to have a good use for anyone who picks it up, rather than just having junk. So SFX based on each, for want of a better word, class type. Hello again. Or you have two different item sets. Anyway, let's start to go through the day. So you draw your dish, and I'm making a cake. I can then decide from there if I'm going to try and make the best dish I can. And I might do that anyway, because I might get good rolls even on my shit dice. Even on the first day, yes, because before I cook, I can know what one judge wants. So I know if one judge wants appearance, I can really try to weight my appearance score, so I know I'm going to win that judge's point. For that day, so that's fine. I know I know what I'm trying to make. I know what ingredients I would like. So we'd have to work out how the ingredient rush worked. Would you know where the ingredients were? Would they be random? Would they just appear on a grid? Player combat track? Yes. Okay, I think that works. So, again, card draw. All right, so card draw enemies. Combat track based on previous day's results. First day by dice roll. And then, yeah, you can basically go after the ingredient you want. It's possible that two people will be going after the same ingredient. So you'd have to bear that in mind. Do I want to be able to challenge another? So if Rydog and myself are going after the same ingredient, do I want to be able to use a turn to basically delay him somehow? PC delay tactics, question mark. You would then remove this. Oh, that's clear formatting. I was really hoping that would be strike through. Well, that's not what I wanted. Control Z doesn't undo. There we go. Well, no, you could then do that combat here. Although we've already put in a... The more you challenge people, the more interesting it is. So if we take that out from there... And then I can spy on a judge. I get the eat score weight. Their eat score weight will never change from round to round. So once I know that, that is just good knowledge, which I can put in my notes. Wouldn't become an asset, I don't think, because we're not, at the moment, I'm not saying we're rolling for every judge. We're going to have a final score for each dish. They're going to go to the judges. The judges will base them based on the eats, which will give them a weighting from each judge. And then those weightings go together to give you a final result, which makes somebody the winner. Yeah, that makes sense. At least right now. It won't make sense when I come and read this again. Oh, I know that already. All right, so that makes sense. So we've done our kind of turn-based combat round. Spy on the judge, get the score, so then we know that we can try and manipulate our way into at least getting one judge to give us the best score. The judges' eat weights would have to be random every game. Not every turn, but every game. Now, in the evening, do you want the ability, or the, not the ability, the possibility of removing a judge? That is where you would have to fight against a judge. A judge would be removed. If removed, judge replaced. Because I think you have to think about the manipulator judge. I think, do we want a judge versus player role in the judgment? I don't know how that would work. Because you can roll for bribe, intimidate, etc., which would then somehow give you a bonus to their score in a category of your choosing. So that would be I can't remember what they call it. Effect dice bonus, but then how would that roll? So you can do an effect dice bonus roll to 1 EAT score. You would use it straight away, but then somehow we would build in you could add even a successful, you add all right, so we do a straight successful effect dice, roll to 1 each score, fail, erectile dysfunction, effect dice, negative roll. No. Fail would add more to fail. Up. Judge. Complication, which we would call something like oh fuck, English is failing me. When you have an opinion or a feeling towards somebody, what's the word? I like them, but I only like them as a 5. Relationship? Standing? And then every time if I bribe someone successfully, should that always come with a negative? Because if I bribe someone, that would probably always come with a positive, right? They might get more money, but they're going to like it. If I try to manipulate a judge, no, I think we do it on the roll. We do it on the roll. If it's successful, your EAT score goes up. If you fail, there's a complication against the judge, which means if you try to bribe them again, he can then use the complication. The more you fail, the more he hates you. Yes. I think that works. The more the judge dislikes you. Hate is such a strong word. So again, I have my original EAT score. I can then challenge a player to get one of my EATs up and one of their EATs down. That's kind of blind, but we can manipulate it that way. In the afternoon, I can then do the same. I can try and mess with another player's creations. I don't know what you would have to take your creation and their creation. So at this stage, you would not know the other player's creation's EAT scores, right? But they would then make a cake. They would have to place it out in the afternoon, in which case it becomes a public knowledge, basically an enemy, right? Public knowledge enemy, and I can look at their player's character sheet. So I can then decide I'm not doing dish-to-dish combat. It would be, what would it be? Me against the creation to see if I could work? Or would it be me? Yeah, so again, the creations would kind of have to have the same kind of rolls. So I would then do a dice pool roll against the creation. So roll PC against dish. Success would equal effect dice roll lower of 1 EAT score. A fail would equal a complication. I don't want to fail to just be a direct. If I win, I can up a score. No, if I win, I can lower one of the EAT scores. If I fail, they can lower one of mine. That's not how I want it to work. So a fail would be a complication that PC rolled against can use in future mess rolls. Which can be stepped up further if it's not used. So again, once you use a complication, it goes. Let's say I don't use a complication. I roll against Rydog again on the second day and I fail. The complication starts at a 4. It would then go up to a 6. Because that's the next dice up. Yeah, that works. Hello again. I don't want the second ingredient rush in the afternoon. We're going to remove that. So then I can basically one-sided change an EAT score. And again, everybody can do that. And then if I want, I can put my dish against theirs. Yeah, we've already moved it from up here. So this is where it would stay. Do I want it to be the dishes that are on the table? All right, so no, this wouldn't be against the dishes to be judged. So maybe this makes more sense in the evening, but the evening is already pretty packed as a round. Maybe you try and change the judge if you want to. If you know there's a judge who doesn't work well for your score or who hates you, you try to get rid of them in the afternoon. which means the last thing you do on any given day. Hello again. Stormtrooper. Is the combat. So then you can pick any one of the judge dishes and challenge anyone else's. No, I would say, I don't. Should you be able to choose the dish you're challenging? Yes. Yes. So then as a. So that turns PC chooses their dish. Basically, it's a Pokemon fight, but you get to choose both Pokemon to fight an enemy dish. Combat rounds, keep on going, however long that would take. So if PC wins, if TPC wins, enemy dish removed. Do I want it to just be a straight fight until one is removed? So it's a risk reward. If I fight with a dish, I can lose that dish. Yes. Enemy PC wins. TPC dish removed. So then the last thing you would do in the evening is recalculate tournament judging table. Hello again. I'm going to work out why you keep on popping back up at some point. Probably not. All right, so does that work? Would that be a fun play style? So again, I draw my dish from the deck. I do my ingredient rush so I can try and get an ingredient that will help me if I need one. Or I can just try and dick over my opponent, which is always fun. Every player draws an enemy. Every PC draws one. Possibly one of your something you could spend a plot point. Spend plot point to draw 2. If you want to, again, to give you more chance of finding an ingredient that will help you, because you already know the dish and you know your weaknesses. So yeah, whoever won the day beforehand, which we would work out here, or should it be based on who's winning at that time? Like golf. Do you go first in golf based on if you won the last hole or if you're winning overall? I don't play a lot of golf. And yes, I think we would allow. I'm just going to allow PC delay tactics. And you can spy on a judge, which would just be this is the roll against the judge. I'm rolling against the judge twice now, both in mess and spy. No negative outcomes from spying. You either success equals knowledge, fail equals no knowledge, plus a complication he can use. Do you want to make it harder for somebody to know something about should success be knowledge plus complication? So if they try to spy on that same judge again, it's harder. And failing actually gives you no knowledge but an asset in your next roll. I think that makes sense, actually. Plus spy comp on judge. And fail equals no knowledge. Plus spy asset for that judge. All right, so we get to the bakes, and then we roll on EAT. You get a score. That should be a fairly quick roll, which looks like that, based on your distinctions, your assets, and your traits. Okay. Then I can, you don't have to, but I can challenge an eat versus an eat. If I need to up my score. Hello again. Okay, we haven't outlined oh my god, what the fuck just happened? There we go. All right, so let's think about the outcomes. I know I thought this through, but I clearly didn't write it down anywhere. So you do one of EAT versus one of EAT. So EVE. That spells Eve. AVA. Do I want to be able to take my higher score? So do I want to be able to put my A against, I know my A is my highest, and I want to put that against their E in the hopes that that makes it easier for me. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Eve, Ava, and Eva. That's fine. All right, so success equals add effect die to EAT. Fail is a complication against future EAT rolls. PC specific, or can any player use the comp? All right, so then that makes sense. So then we mess with other PC creations. So here I've definitely said the fail would be player specific. I think that makes more sense, honestly. All right, so then success equals remove judge plus card draw replace. Okay, so it'd have to be a first day setup, but that's fine. We can add that in a bit. Fail want the removal of a judge to be very, very risky. So if you fail, that $12 comp for all EAT. I still haven't worked out how judging works. That judgment for that judge. That works. And then we roll based on their EAT weightings with any complications added in. All right, so in the evening, I've now got a lot of PC interaction. I don't know if I want all of it. Going to remove that. We're going to put this as the dish interaction. I think that's more fun. So kitchen draw rush just gives you a random item from a deck of cards. Then we decide about the special effects on those. That's fine. You can then fight dish against dish. If you win, the enemy dish removed. If you lose, your dish is removed. We recalculate the judging table. And then we go back here. All right, so I think the combat track is based on table results. Winner first, etc. All right, chat. I think this could work. I now have to try and make it work on this. I think that makes sense, right? Distinctions are based on the eat based on your baker smoker. Yep. And then your trick set as utensils, which again makes sense. 5 days. All right, so let's just do. First day, or it could be before, doesn't really matter. So you need to do X times judge draw. And then there also needs to be a system for random weights per judge, because any information you know from a previous game shouldn't be able to be carried forwards. So all you would need to do, set up the judges. You would already have your characters. You'd be bringing them in. Yeah, that's it. I've no idea if this would be fun to play through, but I think we have a basic outline here. So with that in mind, chat, I think I'm going to call it a day there. There will be a stream on Sunday. I think we're leaning towards Baldur's Gate 3 at the moment, but possibly for the King 2, if not. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend. Monday, we will be going back to RoboCop. See if we can finish that next week. And yeah, I'm probably going to spend Saturday doing a little bit of work on this, see if I can get a model of this kind of game working, see if it's worth taking forward or not. But other than that, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you all when I see you all. Bye for now, everybody.